Yeah, we're not doctors or giving any medical advice. This show is intended for educational purposes only, and you should talk to your doctor about any medical issues. Now, let's get at it.
Welcome to Chat the Fat, where nutrition authors Nissa Graun and TC Hale are going to break down common low-carb mistakes. Let's chat all things low-carb, keto, digestion, and more so you can maximize your results.
Hello, good people, and welcome back to Chat the Fat. This is episode 15. I'm TC Hale, and I'm here with Nissa Graun, and I hear that Nissa Graun launched a podcast today.
I did, but I didn't do it alone.
Oh, wait, it was this podcast. This
Yes.
podcast launched today, even though we're recording episode 15 right now. It's very time-space continuum-y confusing.
Yes, it is.
But it's fun. It's very fun when you put a lot of work into something and then you launch it and people say it's pretty.
Yes, and all of that launching made me very tired, so I have the big coffee today that I'll be sipping on.
All right, we can make some little coffee noises. I like them. But the launch is going great. We've had some people already leave us reviews that were really nice. And so if you're one of the people that left us a review already on iTunes, then you're my favorite person.
All of them.
Yeah, all of them. It really helps us more than anything to get the word out is by people clicking the subscribe, which is free on iTunes, or leaving a review. This item is also free.
I think the people that are listening that haven't left a review yet should let us know why, because it's pretty hard to get reviews, so we want to know why it's so hard.
Yeah, you hear every podcast is like, can you please leave me one review? But it's really hard because with anything, the books that I've written and all these other things, you find that people only leave reviews when they're mad at you.
Yeah.
Like they think it's a complaint department, and that's usually the only time that people really leave reviews. So maybe listeners just need to be educated that you're allowed to leave a review because you're happy. Try this. Let's do that one.
That's why there's five stars there.
That's right. Okay. Awesome. So now that the podcast is live, I guess we'll keep doing it. So we'll do an episode 15 today, right now.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. What do you know at all what we should talk about on episode 15?
So we do have a plan, and today we are going to be talking about exercise myths. And I figure with your personal training background that you might have a thing or two to say about exercise myths.
Yes, I will have a few things to say about that because there are some myths.
Yeah, there's some pretty big ones. So many health and fitness experts will tell you that exercise is absolutely required in order to see weight loss results. Did you know that even you must exercise to lose weight happens to be a myth? Now, we're not here to tell you to drop your current fitness routine and become a couch potato, especially since we all know that potatoes aren't keto, but we are going to use today's episode to clear up some widely believed exercise myths.
And I think this will be great. Here's two things about me that I tell people a lot that seem to give them a little bit of perspective. So if you don't listen to anything else we say today, these two things could be very helpful. And the first one is that my first book on weight loss, I don't even mention working out or exercise in any way until like chapter 17. So that should give you some perspective in when it comes to weight loss, that it's the nutrition and the physiology that's way, way more important. And the second one is that I'm a guy that for decades has made a living from helping people work out in the gym. That's about to be over, so I'm pretty excited about that. But that's how I've made my living for decades. And I still tell people, yeah, this isn't as important. So if that's how I make money, and I'm still saying it's not as important as all the other stuff, you might want to listen to that.
Yes, exactly. So that being said, should we get into some of the exercise myths we're talking about today?
No, I think that was good enough. We'll see you next week for chapter 16. Bye-bye now. We're launched. We're launched now. We don't need to do like whole shows.
That's our full episode. Be sure to give us a 5-star review. Thank you, and good night.
Okay. Exercise myth 1. What do you got?
All right. So number 1, you kind of already mentioned, but that is exercise is absolutely required for weight loss. And while I'm sure we both can agree that exercise is great for health, it's not an absolute requirement in order to see weight loss. Especially, there are a lot of people in the keto community who sometimes don't even exercise at all, but they still find amazing weight loss results.
Right. And, a lot of people, it's fine to use exercise for weight loss. I think it's great. And I think it speeds things up a lot. But when you think it's the number one player in the game, that's when people usually fail, because then they put more effort towards the weight loss than they do all the other things that actually make the weight loss happen. And the people that think that they can work out a bad diet, those are the people that are really screwed.
Yeah, and I have seen some people that maybe eat more junk food than they should and they work out a lot, so they think that it's a swap, but I think maybe that's more their genetics or
It's really more their ability to process and get rid of the junk food, because there's people, we see them every day, that can eat all of that junk food. They can live on Doritos and never work out at all and still look amazing, just because their body is very efficient at dealing with all the carbs and all the junk. But if you're overweight, you already know you're not that guy. So,
exactly.
right.
All right, so the number 2 myth we have, to see results, you must work out for at least an hour every single day. So like we just said, that you don't even need to work out every single day in order to see results. There's a lot of people out there, especially in the keto community, that perform what are called high intensity interval trainings. And they only work out 1 or 2 times per week, and they can see the same results as those who perform an hour workout every day. But if you're doing these high intensity trainings 1 or 2 times per week, the trick is your workout has to be really intense because it's in the name, intense.
Right. And when you were a psycho cardio girl,
Yes.
what was your minimum cardio time? Like, how long did you usually work out per day? Or did you do like 6 different sessions every day?
um, there were some days I did 2, but that was usually the max, unless you want to also count the walking I sometimes did before, after work, or sometimes during lunch. If that all counts, usually I did like 1 session a day, sometimes 2, and the minimum time was usually 45 minutes.
Yeah. So
But
that's,
really
I
long.
don't do long workouts. I just do short, intense things, and just it's easier to fit in my schedule. And I find that I just focus on one or two body parts. I make that intense, and then I just, work out a few times a week, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and back when I was doing those every single day workouts, I definitely was not getting the same results as I do with focusing more on my diet, but also with the high intensity interval training workouts. I definitely see results way quicker with those than trying to just out cardio myself to death.
Right.
But it's also important to note that if you do choose out to work out more often, that you need to take active recovery days. Otherwise, your muscle fibers may be too worn out to grow.
Yeah, and think about it this way, when you work out, especially with resistance training, you're creating tears in your muscles. You're breaking your muscles down so that they have to repair and rebuild and be stronger. So if you work out a muscle on Monday, then it would restart to repair that night and into the next day. And um, if you were to wake up and work out that same muscle again, you never gave it the chance to rebuild and repair before you tore it down again. And that's why a lot of us trainers will have people uh, do specific body parts on one day. If they're going to work out 2 days in a row, do different body parts the next day. And, cardio, where you're using your legs in a cardio fashion, that's not necessarily the same thing. I'm really talking about resistance training here.
Yeah. All right. So, myth number 3, I think this one is a big one that still confuses a ton of people because I know every time I post about it, I get lots of questions. But number 3 is when you hit the gym, you should perform cardio first. And while warming up with a quick cardio session, like maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes max, that could be okay. But it's typically best to lift weights first so that you can burn through your glycogen stores, and also so you don't tire yourself out with cardio, because then it's going to be more difficult to get to your weight session.
Right. So I think you just said it accidentally wrong, but you said you should perform cardio first, but you really want to.
That's the myth.
Yeah. Oh, that's the math.
I
I
read it as
see.
a myth,
I
yes.
get it. I'm not on board with what is happening right now at all. Um, right. So that's a myth. So you really, if you go, after a warm up, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that's great doing cardio for that, just to warm up. But if you burn your glycogen stores while you're doing resistance training, then your body has an easier time burning fat while you're doing cardio. But most people are not that efficient at burning fat to do resistance training. That's not to say that nobody can. People that are really fat adapted have a way, are better at using fat for all types of fuels. But uh, generally speaking, to do resistance training, you need to use glycogen or stored carbohydrate type fuel for the most part. So just switch the order. All of a sudden, you burn up all your glycogen doing the resistance stuff, and now you're ready to burn some fat when you do your cardio.
Yes, and in case anyone else is confused, we are telling you do not perform the cardio first, do the weights first. And that way, when you are doing cardio, you'll be burning more fat during your cardio session.
Okay, so as you go to the next one, I'm going to understand that what you're going to say is going to be a myth.
A myth, yes.
Okay,
That's what we're talking about today,
right,
myths.
myths. Okay, awesome.
Right. So, myth number 4 is more cardio means more weight loss. And so, as we talked about, this is definitely one of the biggest exercise myths that I believed for more than 20 years, which is a long time to believe that and follow it. But it really came from my mindset that was calories in versus calories out, which the mainstream promotes so heavily. And
So
like you,
my question to you while you're talking about this is, A, once you learned that this wasn't true, how long did it take you to actually believe it? You know what I mean?
yeah, I was going to say, once I learned that it wasn't true, it took years to believe it because I was still, even after I found your book and I was back to low carb, I was still waking up really early to do cardio, even though my first child was a horrible sleeper. He still is. He still keeps me up. And I would be up half the night with him, and then I'd wake up at 5:30 in the morning to get more cardio in because even though I heard that it didn't help, I still fully believe that it helped.
And as you did actually learn this and you looked back on all the years you spent so much time doing this, how much cussing did you do?
I actually added it up because a few years ago, we had a garage sale and we actually moved I had a gym quality elliptical that sat in my room for years, and it didn't just sit there. I used it every day, but it sat in my bedroom. So when we moved across the country to Arizona, we took it with us. And when we got here, I was a mom with 2 kids to take care of, no family to help out. I didn't have time to use it. And so it really took us moving this big, heavy elliptical across the country and not use it to realize that it really didn't help me that much, or it actually hurt me.
Right, right.
Yeah. Oh, and so my point of that story is when we sold the elliptical at the garage sale, I think I calculated how many hours I probably spent on that, and it was literal years of my life, which was just sad.
Yeah, it's crazy. So crazy how much time people spend. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, way too much. And now I work out way less and see far better results. So I definitely finally believe it. I finally followed that advice.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so I learned that trying to out exercise a bad diet never works, like you talked about, or even a good diet, because, there are times that I had a good diet, but I would still try to exercise, do more cardio because I was doing a lot of low calorie diets. And so I was still trying to burn more calories than I was taking in. And that just made me feel bad. That cardio was leading to inflammation, which can lead to weight gain. And I know there's still a lot of people that don't believe that either.
Yeah, and there's other ways that it can lead to weight gain and other problems as well. It's not all the ways are not just about inflammation, but I do see a lot of clients that see better results by doing less because they're just doing too much.
Yeah, even when I talk to people and I try to explain that, I don't think they believe me either because Those people who are gymaholics, they just want to believe that all that work they're putting in is really working for them.
Right.
And then something else I know that you love to talk about is too much cardio can actually cause a catabolic imbalance, and being stuck in that imbalance can actually make weight loss more difficult.
It can for a lot of reasons, and your muscles and everything is in this breakdown mode all the time. The catabolic state is not always bad. We want the catabolic and anabolic states to take place, but if someone's stuck in that state, not only can it be a lot of tissue breakdown that's not getting rebuilt, but it can push a person more towards insulin resistance, which can lead to more of your body storing fat for fuel. And so it can cause a lot of problems. And it's probably one of the reasons that when my people start doing a little bit less, sometimes the results are a lot better.
Okay, so myth number 5 is women get bulky from lifting weights. Now, I know this is a myth that a lot of people try to tell you isn't true. Since you have an extensive background in personal training, have you seen a lot of women get bulky from lifting weights?
Well, what you see is, because the reality is, a lot of people say, I don't want to look bulky and freaky and like a alien action figure kind of thing. But the women that you do see where some muscles in their body get bigger than you would normally see on a woman, it's often an issue of the opposite of what we were just talking about, where they're dealing with an anabolic imbalance. And when guys use steroids to become all jacked and crazy and look insane, they're basically pushing their body very severely into that anabolic state where the body's always rebuilding and repairing and building tissue. So they get bigger faster. But a lot of people can have that imbalance going on just naturally, just through their physiology and other problems that are going on. And I see women all the time that are overly anabolic, and it leads to issues like constipation and hypoglycemia and all these other symptoms that they're dealing with. But for some of those women, if that imbalance is severe, it can cause them to build more tissue than they normally would. But in 95% of all cases, a woman is not going to get all bulky like that unless they're taking chemicals to help them do that. A lot of the women that you see that are competing and all that kind of stuff, a lot of them need assistance and supplements and things like that to get them to look that way. So, but when a woman sees that, a lot of women are like, oh, if I pick up anything heavy, I'm going to instantly look like that. And it's never the case. It just, you don't have the right hormonal chemistry going on to be as jacked and crazy as a man can naturally, just because of the different types of hormonal issues, hormonal things going on in a male. So just don't be freaked out about it. Just if you do your self-test that we teach people how to do in our almost free digestion course at kickitnaturally.com, if you see that you're leaning too anabolic, you can take steps to fix that. And then when you lift weights, you're not going to instantly swell into a behemoth, crazy mechanical beast.
And there are a lot of women in the keto community that take collagen protein for health reasons. So I guess we should just clarify that when you say women are taking things to get that bulky, you do not mean collagen protein.
No, I mean bodybuilder supplement things that are specifically designed to build muscle. Things like collagen and stuff are just supplying your body with easy to access amino acids, and usually you're going to grow pretty hair way more than you're going to build muscles, and your nails will get long and strong. So look at that. You're already more girly just by taking collagen.
Yes, my nails grow quite quickly and I actually don't like it, but I like the collagen, so I'll deal with it.
Right.
All right. So myth number 6 is you can turn fat into muscle. So this one's a myth because fat and muscle are actually two different types of tissue. So you can burn fat and build muscle at the same time, but when you're burning fat, this does not automatically get replaced with muscle.
Right.
And of course, at the same time, muscle doesn't turn into fat.
Right, but they're located in the same area, so people just think, oh, my butt was fat and now my butt is muscly. or the other way around, and why don't I put down the Doritos? So, it's easy to get confused about that, but it's two different types of tissues.
All right. So myth number 7 is you need to gulp protein immediately after your strength workout to get better results. So there's definitely, we see a lot of bodybuilders carrying around those huge tubs of protein that they want to take right after their workout. But if you're looking for strength results, you definitely don't need to gulp a protein shake immediately right after your workout. What would you say is the best time frame to eat after a strength workout in order to get the best results?
It really depends on what your goal is. If the goal is just about losing fat, then you don't immediately need to go and have something. There's a lot of nutritional um, approaches that you can take, and as far as whether you're trying to burn fat or build muscle and be all jacked and crazy, uh, and some of the approaches are completely opposite. So you kind of end up thinking, oh, nothing is really right. But it has to do a lot with your physiology and what your goals are. If you were trying to add more muscle, it's it's possible that carbs can even be beneficial in that scenario. And having them after you work out can push your body more in that anabolic state where you're building more muscles. Um, there are some things, if somebody wants to take amino acids, it can help the body build more tissue, all those things. But you don't have to have something right after a workout. And especially when it comes to burning fat, I like to do resistance training and then do easy cardio afterwards so that my body's already in a fat burning state. And then I like to not eat anything for maybe an hour or so afterwards so that my body can continue accessing fat storage for fuel during that time. And so it really depends on what you're trying to do.
So when the first time I hired a personal trainer was a while ago, and it didn't last very long because they didn't give me very good advice. But I remember one of the first things that they told me was pretty much immediately after my strength workout, I should drink chocolate milk because that would help me.
Right. And he's just probably trying to get some form of protein and sugar in there to stimulate some type of anabolic state to, replenish the glycogen and push your body into rebuilding phases. But it's just not necessary. And we find that those kind of moves are often more problematic just because they work for some bodybuilder guy who's very insulin sensitive and, um, burning the carbs and sugars very effectively doesn't mean it's going to have the same effect on someone who's leaning insulin resistant. That's just going to create fat storage.
Yeah, I mean, I love chocolate milk. It's really good. So I was excited to hear that, but it definitely did not help my progress at all. And neither when I was working out, he was there eating one of those chocolate nutter bars or whatever while I was working out. That didn't help me either.
Right, right. Yeah, that's not doing anybody any favors.
Yeah, so that's my personal training story.
It's a good one.
All right. So myth number 8 is you need to eat immediately before a workout. So this one, I find actually that fasted workouts, especially some lighter cardio workouts like walking, are actually beneficial to help me meeting my goals. And that's because I didn't just eat, so I am burning less stored glycogen, and now I'm burning more body fat with a fasted workout. What do you think about that?
That's what I like to do. If I'm doing easy cardio, I want it to be fasted first thing in the morning because uh, it just allows your body to access the stored fat for fuel better. So that's my preference for that type of workout.
And I know that myth has been going around for a long time because I actually remember hearing about that when I first started working out, like all the way back when I was a teenager. And they said, yes, it's great. And then other people said, no, you shouldn't do that. So I was pretty confused about that one for years. But now that I work out fasted, actually, a lot of people probably think they're going to run out of energy or they're going to feel bad. But it actually helps you build up your ketones more. So you actually, a lot of times, have more energy.
Right. And when I do a fasted walk now, I do see like that night my keto tones go a lot higher. Um,
Yeah.
And so I may be one of the people who was promoting this myth, basically for resistance training, is because I always told people that if you're going to do cardio in the morning, don't eat anything. But if you're going to do resistance, to eat something, um, because most people are more effective at using glycogen for that type of work, for that type of workout. So if you're that person and you don't have enough fuel, your body will basically prefer to often break down your own tissues and turn that into glucose to use for that type of resistance workout. But if a person is fat adapted, um, it doesn't appear that that happens as severely. So it really depends on the person a lot. But I felt like that for a really long time, but now I do fasted resistance workouts all the time and do well.
Yeah, I actually started doing that a while ago, and I found that I was getting better results. And I think it's because when you're fasting, then the human growth hormone kicks in, so it could actually help you get faster results like that.
Right. And, the body has a lot of backup mechanisms for a lot of different things. And sometimes when we see that the body is using one mechanism, we kind of jump to the conclusion that it's always going to use that, but that's just not the case.
And then, so we have a tip because not everyone has the life of a stay-at-home mom where you kind of have a flexible schedule. So if you wanted to perform a workout that's fasted, but you already ate breakfast, then one tip you can try is to not eat anything maybe like 2 hours before your cardio session or workout session. And then you get that in, and then waiting at least an hour or so after your session before you eat again. So it's not 100% fasted, but it'll get you more into that fasted state to take
Get you
advantage of
right.
some of those benefits.
It definitely gets you into a state where it's easier for your body to burn fat for fuel.
All right. I wish I knew that back when I was getting ready for my wedding, because I would go for a walk fasted, but then I'd come back and I would pretty much eat lunch immediately. So that
Right.
didn't help me as much.
Did that make you more of a psycho bride just because you were emphasizing the effort you're putting into that?
My personality is too calm to be a psycho bride.
Sweet. Good job.
I'm sure everyone in my wedding would disagree. That's okay. They're not here.
Right, right.
All right. So myth number 9, and I still see a lot of this, whether it's around exercising or not. But myth number 9 is you should be drinking sports drinks like Gatorade in order to keep your electrolytes in check. So while keeping electrolytes in check is very important, especially on keto, because you do not want to become dehydrated, Gatorade or other sports drinks definitely isn't the best way to do that. And even if you're swapping out the sugar-free version that's called G2, or I see a lot of people drinking Powerade, your insulin is still likely spiking from the junk artificial sweeteners used. So I still wouldn't recommend that to get their electrolytes in.
Yeah, a lot of people they hear a commercial that says there's something good about it, and they're like, "Oh, I want something good, so I'm going to ignore the fact that this broccoli is covered in chocolate." And just you know what I mean? It's just you might as well be having a candy bar when you're drinking the liquid sugars like that.
Yeah, and so people, if they have low blood pressure and they need electrolytes, they should definitely still replace the electrolytes, but they can get them through a high quality sea salt or other ways that are beyond sugary and artificially sweetened sports drinks. I know, like, I think I posted something a couple weeks ago that said to avoid a certain drink because it had aspartame in it, and someone's like, well, I drink Powerade and it doesn't have that, but it had other junk sweeteners that were pretty much doing the same thing. So you
Right.
just have to know what to look for.
Right. Yeah. So, especially with low blood pressure, you really got to do a lot of work to get electrolytes in, but just don't jump on something just because it has electrolytes included, because there's a lot of other garbage in there.
Yeah, I know. I've heard of some people drinking Pedialyte too.
I have also heard of that. Yeah.
I was actually told of that trick back in the day when I would drink alcohol and feel hungover. I heard Pedialyte was the cure-all for my bad hangovers.
But you weren't like saying, you weren't going to the bar and like, can I get a vodka Pedialyte, please? Like you weren't drinking that with the
No.
alcohol, right? Okay.
No, they said it was for the next day, but
Okay.
if it would have worked to cure my headaches, I probably would have done that.
Right. Right.
Yeah, not good news. All right, so myth number 10 is working out can lead to weight gain on the scale, which means you're automatically gaining fat. And I know a lot of people, especially in the keto community, I've seen it, they say that they avoid working out because they think that it's actually causing them to gain weight. And so while maybe they are going up on the scale, a lot of times that's because muscle tissue is more dense by volume than fat. So while the scale might be going up, their clothing size is going down. And even though that's a good thing and they're looking better, they just have this mental block with the scale that if it goes up, they're going to stop doing whatever it is that made it go up.
Yeah. And a lot of people have, oh man, just like trauma with this issue. Like you can explain it to them. Uh, you can explain, look, if you measure your belly button and it's going down, that's proof that fat is coming off your body, even if the scale goes up because muscle weighs more than fat. You can explain that and they still just flip out. When I would take on uh, someone who is significantly overweight and I would break down the rules of how this was going to go with us working together, I'd be like, you're not allowed to weigh yourself at all. Don't get on the scale. I'll weigh you once every couple months and have you close your eyes while I do it because I don't want you to flip out. So they would just do that, and then it just removed that tension and that trauma that they were having by just looking at the number, and they could just enjoy the fact that their clothes were getting looser and that the measurement around their belly button was going down.
But you don't think that they were secretly weighing themselves still? Because I'm sure they were.
I would have people I would say, just bring me your scale tomorrow because I want to test it. And they'd bring it and I'd be like, all right, I'll give you this back when we're done.
Yeah, but people are crazy about that scale. So I could see them going to the store to buy a new scale.
Right, right. I know some people are crazy. And yes, Amber, I know you're listening.
Yes, Amber from our Keto Decoded course that swears she's not weighing herself, but we see proof otherwise.
Right, right. Yeah. So you just got to try to teach people that, if you can try to skip it and do it less, it won't affect you. Because what happens is people see the scale go up and they say, oh, what I'm doing is not working, so I have to change what I'm doing. And then they try to either eat less or work out more or both. And any of those scenarios can cause a lot of problems that will restrict weight loss.
Okay, so and we tell people you need to, like you said, check around your belly button. Also, see how your clothes are fitting, or take monthly progress photos because that's really going to tell you the truth about what's going on. The scale is not going to tell you the truth pretty much ever. So definitely, think about how your clothes are fitting, and also realize that it's going to be a slow process. So I think a lot of people want to look at the scale because it's a quicker process if they see that number going down each week, whereas how your clothing is fitting you or the measurement around your belly button going down, it just takes patience and it takes a longer time for any changes to happen.
And the other thing that's important to understand is that, say over a month you lost 3 pounds. Well, during that process, mid-month, you may actually have gone up a little bit in weight. Maybe you went up a half a pound, and that's just part of the body's process of weight loss. It's not an immediate reaction to what you just did yesterday, or, oh, I ate this for breakfast and now I'm heavier than I was last Thursday, so I'm never going to have that for breakfast again. It doesn't work like that. The body's processes go over weeks and days, and you have to view it from a higher up viewpoint, like a mile high viewpoint looking down on it. Don't want to look right in front of you. It just confuses people too much.
Yeah, and I feel like you really have to drill it in because, even with women, most women know around their cycle time that they're going to gain weight, and they know this, and then they weigh themselves, and then they say, why did I gain weight?
Right.
Even though they know it's going to happen, they're still
Right.
surprised and upset, and just stay off the scale.
Right. So if you do it every few months, then you can see, oh, wow, I lost 25 pounds. That's a big number. You know that something went right. But if you lose a quarter of a pound when you wish you would have lost 15, you get upset, even though your body may be in the process of going towards that 15 if you just keep doing what you're doing.
All right. So, number 11, spot training, especially crunches, will help tone specific body parts. So, this one we know is not true because you need to lose fat in order to see muscles like your abs or pretty much any other muscles. Because if there's a layer of fat around the muscles, they're going to be harder to see.
Right. And that's my favorite thing. Only people watching the video on YouTube right now will be able to see this. But when people ask me, hey, what can I do for my abs? What exercise is best for that? I always go, it's always about what you're eating is going to make the difference in how muscles or anything on your body appears. The muscles are under there. They were under there when you were born. You have to let them come out and play by adjusting what you're eating.
Yes, and I do like well, I don't like to work my abs, but I do focus on them, but that's just because I have horrible posture. So that helps me stand up straight.
Right. Yeah.
But that's really it. I never really cared about a six pack. All right. So number 12, you shouldn't work out when following a keto plan. And I know that maybe saying this out loud sounds silly to some people, but I have seen it. There are actual people who believe working out while following keto is somehow going to damage their progress. And so I think it's important to point out that staying active helps with health benefits like boosting your mood or improving your memory. It also protects your brain against age-related cognitive memory decline. And of course, it keeps your muscles strong as you age, which I know people want to think about what they're doing right now and not what's going to happen as they age. But it's important to build those habits now. So as you get older, you actually have muscles to do things like get up out of the chair.
Right. Yeah. And that can become a big deal. Yeah. It's amazing if I have elderly clients come in, they can't even lift their arms over their head.
I know. I always thought that was a myth, but I have met people that have trouble with that and they're relatively young. So I definitely keep up with the weight workouts so that doesn't happen to me.
Right.
Plus, so when I had my children, I had C-sections for both of them. And right after the surgery, you have no ab muscles whatsoever. Like they don't work right. And it was so horrible just even trying to get up. And it took maybe like a week or two to recover. So I definitely never want to get back to that point again.
Right. Yeah, for real.
So that is important to note. All right. So number 13, and this is our final myth that we're talking about today, is staying active and working out intensely means the same thing. So a lot of times people might hear me say that I don't work out as much as I used to, or I don't really work out anymore. And they get confused. I don't know if they think that I'm just a couch potato now or what I do, but while I don't do the 45 to an hour to 90 minutes cardio sessions every day, I'm definitely still active. And what I mean when I say that I'm active is I perform housework or I'm up taking care of children a lot. Like I was at 4 a.m. this morning, which is why I have the big coffee. So I've been active since 4 a.m. taking care of my kids today. But it could also include doing things that you love, like bike rides. A lot of people like to do gardening or going for walks at the park. So that's what I mean by staying active, that it's really important to do that instead of just hanging out on the couch all day and watching Bravo, although that's one of my favorite things too.
Right. And there's lots of things that you can do that include movement that may not count as an intense workout. Maybe you're viewing it as fun, but it counts as far as getting that motion in.
Yeah, but it's also important to point out that not everyone, especially those who are following keto, need that intense workout every day at the gym for better health. Some people just need to be more active, and you can do that with doing things that you enjoy.
Right.
All right, so those are the myths that we wanted to cover today. And we will have an episode download that you can get at chatthefat.com/episode 15. And this is going to be a guide with the best times to get in a workout. So if you were confused about some of the things we said, or you believe some of these myths to be true, definitely check out that guide in order to not waste your time.
Yeah, cool.
All right. So we have a listener question, and this one is from Julie. And she said, when going down a significant amount of weight, what is your advice for a transitional wardrobe? How do you handle new sizes without breaking the bank, knowing that you will soon, hopefully, be another new size?
Yeah, and I've had clients get really upset with me because they're like, I have to buy all new clothes. You know, and I'm like, well, you lost 80 pounds. Yeah, but I can't afford all new clothes. Well, you paid me to help you lose 80 pounds. So yeah, it's a real thing. But what's really fun is when somebody can shop in their own closet because they kept some of the things that they haven't been able to fit in for years. And all of a sudden they're like, wow, look at this. I can wear this again.
That can be fun, and I did that for a long time where I would buy clothes that either never fit me, I would just hope to get into them, but I'd never wore them, or clothes that fit me for a little while. And so I'd keep these clothes, and honestly, by the time I finally lost weight and I finally stayed at a stable weight, I didn't
Nobody
like
was
any
wearing
of it.
parachute pants
No,
anymore. Is that?
no, I spent all this money on clothes, and I didn't like any of it. So it
Oh,
finally
like the
fit me.
style.
Yeah, and actually some of it was surprisingly too baggy. By the time I even thought to
Nice.
try it on, it was already too big, which I never thought would have happened, but it did.
Right. So
So for me, basically, being a mom, I wear a lot of yoga pants. So it's really easy to not have to worry about buying a lot of new clothes when you wear stuff like that that's kind of stretchy. Um, But when I was in between sizes, then I might maybe buy one or two transitional pieces in a certain size, and then I wouldn't buy more pieces until I got to the size that I wanted to be.
all right. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully that helped Julie a little bit because I know that my answer did not help her at all.
All right. And so we had, sorry, I lost my thing. Well, we have, we were going to talk about the Jigsaw Electrolyte Supreme packets. Have you ever tried those?
I haven't.
Let me pull it up because I had some, but I don't know where I put them. So these are, since we were talking about Gatorade and all of that fun stuff, I thought that we could talk about that because I know a lot of people in keto actually prefer to use that to get their electrolytes because they come in different flavors like lemonade or berry. And I have a bunch because I actually used to use them when I first started keto. But let me read you some of the ingredients and see what you think. So it has vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, biotin, calcium, iodine, magnesium, zinc, selenium. So all of those. And then it also has, sorry, I lost it. It also has stevia, monk fruit extract, and erythritol.
Yeah. So usually, like with a mineral supplement like that, where it has a lot of different things in it, there usually one of them is not so overbearing that it's going to create an imbalance, like we talk about in some of the episodes where magnesium is so popular and can be so crucial, uh, especially with a keto diet. But not everybody wants to take a lot of magnesium because their chemistry might get worse. But with some things like this, which are like usually broad spectrum supplements, you're usually just getting a little bit of each. And as far as the all those sweeteners that were in it, some people are going to do fine with that, and we know that that's going to stall weight loss for some people. So, how did you do when you used it?
So, like I said, I was taking them when I first started keto to help my electrolytes. And I also took them when I first started intermittent fasting because a lot of people say that as long as what you have is under 50 calories, it doesn't break your fast. And these ones show 10 calories per packet. So I thought I was fine. But knowing what I know now, it was breaking my fast because of all the artificial sweeteners in it. So it was causing my insulin to spike. So, I would take them to keep my electrolytes up, but then pretty much 20 minutes later, I would start to feel really hungry because of the insulin spike from the artificial sweeteners. So I definitely wouldn't recommend them to anyone if they wanted to keep their fast going. But I liked how they tasted. They tasted pretty good.
Well, they have 3 different sweeteners in there, so it's probably
Yeah.
delicious.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I think I even mixed it. I have a recipe on my website for an electrolyte margarita. If you're drinking, it's a good way to get some
Nice.
electrolytes in with the tequila.
Sweet.
Because there are a lot of people that want to do keto and they want to have a drink every now and then. So
Right.
that was my suggestion. But yeah, I personally don't use really any artificial sweeteners anymore, so it's not something that I would recommend now. Now I might just recommend good old-fashioned sea salt, but
Right. But if someone is low blood pressure and they're transitioning to keto, those are the kind of people that I'm much more fine with them using a lot of those products that have the artificial sweeteners in them. The stevia, the good ones, but they have them in there because they're taking steps to move away from all the vending machine garbage that they've been eating for so long. And this is the way that you succeeded, as well as you started off by using these crutches a little bit, right?
yeah, and I think it's definitely way better. Like I'm looking at their website and they had compared to Vitamin Water Zero or Powerade Zero. So I think the sweeteners that they use are way better than those other drinks where you
Right.
would find electrolytes.
They're not the toxic ones. They're just ones that can slow progress for a lot of people. But if you're transitioning, I think that's fine to do that and can even be helpful to do that.
Yes,
Cool. We did a show.
we did.
After we launched, we did a show even.
And we have more. So next week, it is just going to be me for episode 16. And since I made all these mistakes for so long, I wanted to talk about all the exercise mistakes that I made. So hopefully, if people still don't believe us and they're still making these mistakes, they can see what I was doing that resulted in all of the wrong results.
But that's going to be like a 6-part episode, right? You're going to talk about all the exercise mistakes you made?
I'll group them together so it's
Okay.
not quite so long. I have other stuff to do too.
Cool. All right. We appreciate you guys. Swing by chatthefat.com and click on contact us if you want to submit a question that you want us, or a question or a topic that you kind of want us to cover on an upcoming show. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Whether you're brand new to keto or just looking to move past roadblocks, join us for our next Troubleshooting Keto Master Workshop. Go to chatthefat.com/workshop to find upcoming dates and register for this totally free event. You just might find your missing piece of the puzzle. Until then, we'll see you next week on Chat the Fat.